G'day guys, well it's been a hot minute but just been busy with life and things, and the sheer volume of things coming through, it makes it difficult to make any sort of videos. But today we've got this little Masport mower. Picked him up last week, finally getting a look at it today. It's got its own little ecosystem growing out of it. Sat around for a fair while by the looks of it. A little bit concerning. It pulls over okay. No knocks to write home about. She's dead dry in the sump. So I think to start this one off, we might just put some throwaway oil in it, put some fuel in it and see what it does, eh? Righto. So the throwaway oil is just whatever I can get cheapest. It's not going to spend long in there, it's just a lubricant to start it up. There's no point putting expensive oil in there if it's just going to be a chuck away block. So since we're completely dry, I'll put about half a litre in there. Won't be completely full, but no, more than enough. Get that out of the way. Victor's over there grinding away on something. Some fuel and she's bone dry, so yeah, a little bit more. That'll be plenty. Might have to buy some fuel later. Yeah, I'm still using the diesel can. But it's got petrol in it. Alright. Let's run, stop. Yeah. We're not prime it, so there's our first hurdle to overcome. Alright, let's pop this air filter off and just throw some fuel straight down its guts. Right, so I sort of held my hand over and pulled it a couple of times, and now our primer's working, so let's give it a whirl. Go again. We went and cut some grass. She goes, good. So, I'll just roll him over. Actually, we'll give it a wash first. Because if it only needs an oil seal and a good general tidy up, may as well clean it. But that engine seems A-OK to me. Go through the carb a bit later on. We'll see. Good clean up, change the oil again, check the blades, and this might be a bit uneventful, this one. Alright, she's looking a bit cleaner. Let's go on the underneath of it. I'll go and get some tools and get set up. Righto, get impact. First thing, I inspect these Masport blade plates, blade holders, blade disc, whatever you want to call it, for his cracks. This one's got an alloy boss. Don't see them too often. And these will usually crack out around here. Now this is still dirty, so I've got to go and clean it and have a closer inspection on it. Looks like it could be cracked. There's no crack on the outside, so it could just be like a crack in the paint that's flaked a bit as well. I did give it a quick hose underneath. Not seeing anything too nasty. There's a little bit of string and stuff wrapped around the crankshaft, which we'll get rid of. So if you've got twine or something around your shaft, it can end up in this oil seal and gall it out. All in all, so far it's looking okay. These blades are still all there, but they're getting on the thin side, so we're just going to replace them. We'll come back in a minute and we'll get this end of it back together. And then we might pop the starter housing off. Just make sure all the air fins are clean. And then take it for a test run. Rightio. 2 fresh blades. Blade disc seems alright, it's a little bit pitted. Just a little bit of cleaning shows that was just paint coming off there. I've given this a quick wire brush just to knock off any dirt and crap. Make sure we get a good flush mounting onto there. I've also taken all that string that was wrapped around the shaft out of the equation as well. After a test run, I'm going to quickly roll him over, see if that's dry, and I guess it's just going to be a mystery on where the oil went. Maybe, you know, the oil was just low and they'd ran it and then stopped using it, hopefully, before any major damage was done, because his engine seems to run pretty good so far. More string wrapped around the main bolt. I find it important before moving a mower onto its new home that I actually test run it a fair bit. So I usually mow a couple of lawns with it at the same time. Make a couple of bucks doing it. There we go. Righto, let's check under that starter and get that air filter cleaned and take him for a run. Righty. grubby. Not terrible. Right. None of the fins are blocked. Let's have a look. There's just a bit of mud. It's all a bit wet because I hosed it down earlier. We'll just give him a quick wash and jam it back together. Nothing to see here. Maybe this air filter might need a bit of a clean. Other than that, we're all back together, we're all clean. Chuck this on, give the bloody thing a polish. Rightio. And I managed to get grass on it. Fuck. Anyhow, I'll go and re-clean that. The filter itself I just washed with some dishwashing liquid and water, and then put some ATF on it. That's all I had, but usually just light oil and then wring it right out. Don't want it dripping with oil, but you just want oil on the sponge there to catch the dust and particulates. Yeah, we'll slap him on, polish the mower up and take it for a spin. A little bit of WD will help lift up, like just where the stickers were. Sometimes it helps lift up some of those stains too, so. Go on a bit. Downside is it promotes dust sticking to it. Upside is it doesn't stick because the second you hit it with a hose, it all comes straight back off, so makes it look nice though. All that grass stains just nicely lifting away there. Before we take the mower anywhere to go and give it a test run, I better give the car its 360,000th birthday. Just warming it up at the moment. We'll drop the oil out and spin on a new filter and drop some new oil in. Almost there. Typical Toyota, just boring and functional. Like, no oil leaks. It does its job and you look after it and it looks after you. The oil we'll be using is a Penrite HBR10. Could have gone to probably a 1540, but the mechanic at the auto shop that I go to, he is a mechanic, but he just sells car parts now. Recommended, since the K's are a bit higher, go something a little bit heavier. This stuff always comes out clean. I've used it for about 60,000 K's now. Just, it comes out dark, but no sludge, and it's just good shit. Now it takes about 4 litres to fill it. After about 5,000 K's, I've lost that 1 litre. I figure that's acceptable for its age. This car does 500, 600 K's a week, just churns out the K's. Alright, she's all done and filled up. We'll just give him a quick hose down to get rid of maybe some of this mud. Bugger him off. Bugger this off. This is the old oil. So it looks kind of dark in the pan, but it's just darkened. It's not even full of sludge or anything. If I change my ute oil, it comes out black. She's still healthy. Burns a little bit. Sort of be expected with its age, I suppose. But all in all, good for a while yet. I've got to flush out this power steering fluid. Every Toyota I've had, and I've had one of these since it was brand new. I sold it a few years ago. Always ends up with coffee coloured friggin' power steering fluid. Who knows? are pretty much done. There's 2 little jobs off the top of my head left to do. That carb's come good. I'd say just had a little bit of gummy fuel in it. I've got to change the oil again. So that's why I put in cheap oil for that first sort of initial run, because that's getting quite dark. Sometimes I'll just empty the oil out, put diesel in there, run it for a minute or so and then dump it out. That works really well as well. The reason I didn't do it this time is because the sump was so dry. I wanted to make sure there's some sort of thicker lubrication in there. While diesel is a lubricant and it works quite well for flushing the engine, this thing was dry, so it's missing the spreader bar from the back of the base. Oh, can't see because we've got grass everywhere. So it keeps the back of the frame pushed apart and it has squeezed in a little bit. Probably been missing for quite some time. They snap off. I've seen quite a few recently where they're just gone, but you can tell it's gone in a little bit because you've got this gap here. The base should be sitting on top of this bush. Not to worry, I can either make one up or just with a tiny piece of thin C-channel, or I can rob one from a parts machine if I've got one floating around. That's not a big deal at all. At the end of that, I was hoping to be somewhat of an exciting video, because dead grass and stuff growing out, but it turned out it was pretty average. Thanks for watching.